Okay, so please tell me what is the most important part in training astronaut, and is there actually, what is the main steps, and it is something the most important.
Let's say that we have, when you are assigned to a mission, we can split the training in major blocks, I would say. First, of course, you need to learn about your vehicle, so the vehicle that will bring you up and down. So this take a big part of the training. Then another block is the space station, of course, the station where you're going to live for 2 weeks, and work, especially because Sławosz will be performing experiments in ISS. That's another big block of the training. And of course, we have to think about ISS as an international partner program, which means that each partner is responsible for their part of the training, which foresee training located in various areas. Of course, the NASA part is trained at Johnson Space Center in Houston. The European part is trained in Cologne. The Japanese part in Japan at Tsukuba. So Sławosz had to travel around and receive all the training he needed. And big part of this science program is European, which means shared between Europe and Poland with specific experiment. And we have been training all these in Cologne. I will not say that there is a most important part with respect to the other. They build upon each other, and you need to know every single part to be able to perform your job in space.
So you have to be prepared for everything.
Yes, part of the training is also emergency, which you need to be ready to deal with, and this is part of also of the training on ground, and of course also on orbit. As soon as they arrive, the first part will be an emergency training to be sure that you really know how to deal in case of an emergency. But yes, all the blocks are equally important to being able to perform your job in space.
And did Sławosz was trained like anybody else, or is there something depends of, I don't know, age or gender or something like that?
No difference in age or gender. The main difference is between astronaut and project astronaut. Project astronaut, like Sławosz, they are assigned directly to a mission. So they didn't receive, for example, the basic training and the pre-assignment training. And the training is slightly different because this is a 2 weeks mission. So the task he will be accomplishing, it's mainly science. So all the training is focused on being able to achieve the science on orbit.
Okay. And how important is training together with a team?
That's one, I think, still of the most important part. You fly as a crew. This means that on the vehicle you are all together, you split responsibility among the crew. And on the space station you live with your crew. And when we say crew on the station, we also mean everyone that is on the station. We have been able to sync also with the crew that is already on station. Of course, they are on different training paths, but we try to have as much as we can the crew to train together when we are able to do it. So that's also extremely important, that they train together and they learn their personality and how to deal with the crew. That's also very important.
But it's like, in some time could Sławosz switch a team with this training? It's, for all team is also the same?
No, I mean, the training is the same because the program is established. What we try to do is, of course, if we train, I give you an example. Sławosz started the ESA training earlier than the other crewmate. So he was already trained on part of the training when the crew came to Cologne. But what we did was to have him into the training together with the other crewmates that were receiving the new one on the specific block, for example, emergency procedure or the final simulation, so that they could train together. So this means even if they have different paths, without to create occasion where they can train together.
Okay, and on a different way, what do you think about analog astronaut centers, something like that? Is it good to prepare to being astronaut? Or?
When you have analog environment, they actually specifically prepare for certain activity, I would say.
Yeah.
An example, we also, Axiom also organized the NOLS training, National Outdoor Leadership School, which is, if you want to see it, a kind of analog in the sense that you train as a team. You don't have specific tasks, but you still need to work with the competence of each other and build upon so that you create the team. That's an analog at the end. So analog training, it's good. There are analog training built, for example, like ESA does in caves, because you have the confined environment, like you have on the space station. You can have analog missions that are long duration mission, and you train the fact that for a long period of time you are confined. So, but analog will never cover the entire aspect, but could be definitely part of the training.
Okay. What would be your advice for some kid from Poland who wants to be an astronaut? How could he or she start the training?
So, most important thing for kids is study.
Of course, yeah.
That's important, but it's important also to become an astronaut. If you consider that the selection to become an astronaut requires at least a person with 3 years of work experience, means that you have to have complete studies at university, because let's say the selection foresee either that you are a pilot or that you have a master degree in a STEM subject, which is engineering or physics, mathematics, geology, biology. You can be a medical doctor, so you need to have completed your study. So if you dream to become an astronaut, definitely go for something you really want to study, complete a university path, stay focused, maybe learn to fly, learn to dive, but definitely studying is the most important part.
And about training, I don't know, it's more important to be fast or strong or something like that?
No, I mean, I would say the important is to be fit. That's an important part, definitely. For sure, for example, EVA activity requires strength in the activity, but you can get this. But I would say physically you need to be fit, but most important is the quality that you have as a person, as also the study you have done.
Okay, and to the end, let's tell me what is your background?
So, when I got
maybe you
asked,
start with that. Sorry.
No problem. When I started dreaming about space when I was a kid, like most of the kids, you know. And for that reason, at the beginning, I was wondering if I should try to become a pilot or become a physicist or an engineer. At the end, I decided to study aerospace engineering. And then, you know, things are also strange sometimes. So I started working on stratospheric balloons. So still kind of space, almost near space environment. Yeah. But then I moved to work with the fluid science laboratory, which is still on the ISS, and we have trained also Sławosz on that. Mainly on the software part, and then I moved to training, and I moved to Cologne. So something maybe we can also add for the kids is that dreaming of becoming an astronaut is, you know, the top of the pyramid, but below the astronaut there are so many professionals. So you can still dream to work in space, but maybe work in training like me, work in operation, work in engineering, building rockets, experiment or hardware. So space is very vast with with the job that you can do. So dream to become an astronaut, but maybe at the end you will become an engineer and still work in space and be extremely happy.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.